You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Epictetus. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Seneca. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Epictetus. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Seneca. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Seneca. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. Jesus Christ, Lord of all things, you see my heart, you know my desires. Possess all that I am, you alone. Saint Agatha. It is better to be a child of God than king of the whole world. Saint Aloysius Gonzaga. He who trusts in himself is lost. He who trusts in God can do all things. Saint Alphonsus Liguori. What does it cost us to say, "My God, help me, have mercy on me"? Is there anything easier than this? Saint Alphonsus Liguori. It is with the smallest brushes that the artist paints the most exquisitely beautiful pictures. Saint André Bessette. When we pray, the voice of the heart must be heard more than that proceeding from the mouth. Saint Bonaventure. If you learn everything except Christ, you learn nothing. If you learn nothing except Christ, you learn everything. Saint Bonaventure. Men do not fear a powerful hostile army, as the powers of hell fear the name and protection of Mary. Saint Bonaventure. In everything, whether it is a thing sensed or a thing known, God himself is hidden within. Saint Bonaventure. Start being brave about everything, driving out darkness and spreading light as well. Saint Catherine of Siena. Arm yourself with prayer rather than a sword. Wear humility rather than fine clothes. Saint Dominic. I can't do big things, but I want all I do, even the smallest thing, to be for the greater glory of God. Saint Dominic Savio. How could I wear a crown of gold when my Lord wears a crown of thorns, and he wears it for me? Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. Pure love knows that only one thing is needed to please God, to do even the smallest things out of great love. Saint Faustina Kowalska. Where there is charity and wisdom, there is neither fear nor ignorance. Saint Francis of Assisi. I am who I am before God, no more and no less. Saint Francis of Assisi. It is not the actual physical exertion that counts toward a man's progress, nor the nature of the task, but the spirit of faith with which it is undertaken. Saint Francis Xavier. One cannot love without suffering, or suffer without loving. Saint Gianna Beretta Molla. If God created shadows, it was to better emphasize the light. Saint John Lefinturi. Walk with your feet on earth, but in your heart be in heaven. Saint John Bosco. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. Ernest Hemingway. Stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident. Carrie Fisher. One can choose to go back toward safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. Abraham Maslow. When we're growing up, there are all sorts of people telling us what to do. when really what we need is space to work out who to be. Elliot Page. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Albert Einstein. The swiftest way to triple your success is to double your investment in personal development. Robin Sharma. I would like to think that all of my successes in life are really just the fruit of my failures. Evie Oddly. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Warren Buffett. Always work hard and have fun in what you do, because I think that's when you're more successful. You have to choose to do it. Simone Biles. I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. Thomas Jefferson. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Seneca. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Seneca. He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Seneca. There is no easy way from the earth to the stars. Seneca. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Seneca. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. Seneca. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Marcus Aurelius. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Epictetus. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Marcus Aurelius. It is not that we have so little time, but that we lose so much. The life we receive is not short, but we make it so. We are not ill-provided, but use what we have wastefully. Seneca. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now, take what's left and live it properly. Marcus Aurelius. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. G. Michael Hopf. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. Ryan Holiday. You will be wrong sometimes. The key is not to stay wrong. An unacknowledged error is an error. An acknowledged error is an education. At the Stoic Emperor. Forget everything else. Keep hold of this alone and remember it. Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. Marcus Aurelius. Those who live the longest and those who die the soonest both lose the same thing. The present is all they can give up, since that is all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose. Marcus Aurelius. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Seneca. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. The Eucharist is the secret of my day. It gives strength and meaning to all my activities of service to the Church and to the world. Pope John Paul II. Life is short. Our trials last but a moment. Saint Teresa of Avila. To have courage for whatever comes in life. Everything lies in that. Saint Teresa of Avila. A word or a smile is often enough to put fresh life in a despondent soul. Saint Thérèse of Lisieux. The most powerful weapon to conquer the devil is humility. For as he does not know at all how to employ it, neither does he know how to defend himself from it. St. Vincent de Paul. Teach us to give and not count the cost. St. Ignatius of Loyola. If God causes you to suffer much, it is a sign that he has great designs for you, and that he certainly intends to make you a saint. St. Ignatius of Loyola. The deeds you do may be the only sermon some persons will hear today. St. Francis of Assisi. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. St. Francis of Assisi. The secret of happiness is to live moment by moment and to thank God for all that he, in his goodness, sends to us day after day. St. Gianna Beretta Molla. If one were to consider how much Jesus has suffered, one would not commit the smallest sin. St. Gianna Beretta Molla. When one does one's own duty, one must not be concerned, because God's help will not be lacking. St. Gianna Beretta Molla. Our body is a cenacle, a monstrance. Through its crystal the world should see God. St. Gianna Beretta Molla. Love is the most beautiful sentiment the Lord has put into the soul of men and women. St. Gianna Beretta Molla. Who except God can give you peace? Has the world ever been able to satisfy the heart? St. Gerard Mahela. Direct all your actions and your sacrifices to this end, that they may all serve to make you more happy and content in paradise. St. John Duvricheri. Do you want our Lord to give you many graces? Visit him often. Do you want him to give you few graces? Visit him seldom. St. John Bosco. God asks little, but he gives much. St. John Bosco. The past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. The present is here, live it. Thomas S. Monson. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Chinese proverb. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Mark Twain. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Buddha. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Albert Einstein. I attribute my success to this: I never gave or took any excuse. Florence Nightingale. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. Amelia Earhart. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. Babe Ruth. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. W. Clement Stone. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. John Lennon. We become what we think about. Earl Nightingale. Life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. Charles Swindoll. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Alice Walker. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Buddha. The best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Zig Ziglar. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Anais Nin. If you hear a voice within you say, "You cannot paint," then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. Vincent van Gogh. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Aristotle. Ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened for you. Jesus. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. Henry David Thoreau. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, "I used everything you gave me." Irma Bombeck. Few things can help an individual more than to place responsibility on him and to let him know that you trust him. Booker T. Washington. Certain things catch your eye, but pursue only those that capture the heart. Ancient Indian proverb. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. George Adair. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Plato. Teach thy tongue to say, "I do not know," and thou shalt progress. Maimonides. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe.